Howdy, folks. Spencer here, and today I want to talk to you about the Dilithium exchange. As many of you have probably heard, the backlog for the DilEx on PC has been drastically dropping over the past couple of weeks, and as of today, the backlog is gone. You can now instantly trade your refined lithium for Zen, and the market has been dropping quite a bit. So I'll be discussing all of this and breaking down whether or not the DilEx is actually fixed. If you want to skip ahead to any specific topic, I will have chapters listed down below. But I want to start off with a recap of the basics of the DilEx, what it is and how it works. So the Dilithium exchange is a system within STO that allows players to trade their refined lithium for Zen and their Zen for refined lithium. This allows free-to-play or budget-oriented players a route to obtain Zen by playing the game and earning Dilithium, and then they can exchange that Dilithium for Zen. And for those of you that don't have as much time to play the game, but you're willing to throw money at it, you can put some money into the game, pick up some Zen, and then exchange that Zen for Dilithium to get whatever Dilithium items you need to get. So it's a system that benefits both free-to-play players and those of you that don't have a ton of time to sit here and grind out content to earn that resource. So the Dilithium exchange has a wide range of accepted rates. The DIL to Zen rate can vary from as low as 25 DIL per Zen all the way up to 500 DIL per Zen. A lower ratio, like 25-1, represents high demand for Dilithium in the game, and a higher number up front there, like 500-1, represents high demand for Zen in the game. For those of us on PC, our exchange has been leaning very heavily towards that 500-1 ratio for quite a long time. The exact rate of the exchange is determined by the player base, as every bit of Zen and DIL on the exchange is from another player. Cryptic does influence these rates based on the events and sales that they do and any new Dilithium or Zen items they introduce into the game. If the ratio hits the 25 or 500 DIL per Zen limits, a backlog can form, like we had on PC, because there isn't enough DIL or Zen to match the demand that exists. And if that happens, orders at that lower high point will be filled on a first come, first served basis. And the next thing I want to talk about is what exactly went wrong with the Dilithium exchange? What broke about it? Well, the first thing to really say there is that it never actually broke. It never stopped functioning. It just functioned in a way that people did not like. What happened is that the demand for Zen in the game has been extremely high, and as Cryptic introduces more and more C-Store ships, legendaries, and a variety of C-Store bundles, people really want Zen. And at the same time, as Cryptic is introducing all of this new C-Store stuff, they were giving us more and more ways to get Dilithium. So this led to higher demand for Zen and a higher supply of Dilithium in the game, which led to the DIL to Zen exchange rate hitting the 500-1 cap. And once it hit that point, there wasn't enough Zen going into the DilEx to compensate for the demand, so a backlog started. This backlog meant that if you were trying to sell your refined lithium for Zen, it would take you days to weeks for that order to go through. So you had to wait for any orders placed from anyone else before you to go through before yours could go through. And that ended up resulting in some players having wait times as long as a month. And on the topic of the DilEx being broken, one of the things that left people thinking it was broken was the fact that with it being at the backlog, at that 500-1 cap, there was no listings in the Buy Zen tab of the DilEx. But you could go through and go to the Sell Zen tab to see where the backlog was at, and that is how myself and many other players have been keeping track of where the DilEx backlog has been sitting at for the past year and a half or so that we've been dealing with this. So on the topic of the DilEx, let's talk about the history of it. This is from Titus17 on Reddit, and this goes back to 2014. And you can see that all the way back then, the DIL to Zen rate was as low as the hundreds. And then slowly over time, we got more content, more demand for Zen items, and the rate went up. And then Cryptic introduced things over the years like the Phoenix Pack and a variety of other Dilithium acquired items that caused the rate to go back down. And then after Victory's life dropped, the Dil Hadars started up, and people realized that Gemidars were really good for grinding Dil. And then Starbase 1 was introduced, which, as you all know now, has been a very common spot for people to just AFK and grind resources. And this has been heavily abused by botters now for quite some time. So as the prior slide showed, we have been at or near the 500 DIL per Zen rate since 2020. However, in the later half of 2021, it hit that 500 to 1 cap, and it stayed there throughout all of 2022. And I'll show in the next slide how the backlog progressed throughout 2022 up to this day. And it's quite crazy how quickly it went up and down at various points. As the backlog grew to a higher number, the duration it took for your DIL to Zen orders to go through increased massively. And as I said before, near the peak of it, back around December, it took over a month for orders to go through. And here you can see the backlog from the start of 2022 up through the current day, March 6th, 2023. So you can see that it went up and down a little bit in the early half of 2022. And then once we hit May, it just continued going up and up and up. It did stabilize around 10 to 11 mil there for a little bit. And then it started to massively drop off in the mid to late part of December. So I want to talk now about what exactly caused the backlog, and I've already alluded to this a little bit, and I've talked about this all in some of the prior economy videos, but I believe that the main reason that we had the DilEx backlog get to the point that it got to is because of bots. And if you recall, in the initial economy video that I did, there was a bot farm that was doing Starbase 1 on Elite AFK, because that map has some design issues, and they were doing that with 700 plus accounts. That bot farm, the person running it, messaged me later, and I did a little interview with them, which is in that video, and they told me that they were refining 350 million dilithium per month. Like, you know, that's obviously had a massive impact on the DilEx. Many do also blame the lack of DIL syncs for the overall DIL issue, but I feel that if that was really the case, then, you know, console would have been experiencing the same issues. So for me, I am still biased towards the idea that the reason for the DilEx being, or going to where it went, was because of bots. And most notably, once the bots started to get banned, we started to see a very large collapse. So let's talk about what caused that big drop there. Since December, a few different things have happened that have impacted the Dilithium exchange. On December 15th, Cryptic responded to my report and started to ban the Starbase 1 bot farms. From December 21st through January 2nd, there was the winter sales, which had a Phoenix and Vanity Shield event running for the entire duration. So that was a really good Dilithium drain. We also had some changes to the fleet that started to go live early in December, and that was the ability to donate DOFs of any rarity to your fleet, or Dilithium in place of DOFs. However, the DIL donation part didn't fully work with the initial addition, and didn't really fully work until the end of January. Starbase 1 Elite was temporarily removed as part of the Good Day to Die event, which is going to be ending here in a couple days, so it'll be interesting to see if Cryptic has properly adjusted that map to prevent it from being AFK'd once this event is over. And if they haven't, then we may see the DilEx backlog reappear. And as the backlog decreased to around 1 million, many Zen holders, myself included, decided to sell our Zen for Dilithium. This caused a rapid sell-off that resulted in the backlog being eliminated very early in the morning on March 6th, 2023. The DilEx, like, it lost a massive amount. It went from like 2 million down to 0 in like the course of 2 to 3 days. It was a crazy drop. And the other things that may have had an impact on the backlog that weren't listed there is that there have been reports that Cryptic has been investigating or banning accounts that refine lots of dilithium and or had multiple listings of 5k Zen buy orders up. And there have been some bot farms and gold sellers voluntarily shutting down or moving away from STO to other opportunities. In the past couple of months, the number of active gold sellers on player auctions or eBay has drastically dropped. You can go over there and look right now. Like that, there's nowhere near as many as there was when I initially talked about them a month or two back. And it looks like over half of the sellers just are no longer active. And next up, I want to talk about whether or not this is really the end of the backlog. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat that it's not a very satisfying answer. The answer is it's too soon to say. Of what I can tell you is that the backlog that we did have there has disappeared. It disappeared this morning, March 6th, 2023 at 6:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in the time since then, there has been quite a bit of Zen posted to the DilEx that is instantly available for you to go through and pick up with your Dilithium. And there's a couple $1,000 worth of Zen sitting on the market right now. So there's a little bit of a buffer, but if there's a sudden surge of players going in and trying to sell all their Dilithium for Zen, then the backlog could reappear. In addition, Starbase 1, that could reappear in a couple days. That could, Cryptic's fix may not be enough, and that could start to be an issue again. And, it's really, we just gotta wait and see. But what I can tell you right now is that if you want to go in and if you want to go and buy some Zen, you can do that instantly right now. I can go in here and I can go in and say, I want to buy Zen for 493 Dil per Zen. I can go in and I can buy one and it's there instantly. Whereas just a couple days ago, I couldn't do that. So we have a very nice improvement here. The instant access to converting my Dilithium to Zen is very nice, and I think many of you are going to be happy to see that. Now, one of the reasons that the DilEx crashed is, or the backlog on the DilEx crashed as quickly as it did here, is because there was a lot of market speculation. As the DilEx was dropping over the past couple of months, it was clear that there was going to be eventually a really quick sell-off once we got close to the backlog disappearing. And this meant that there were many players that had really large stockpiles of Zen who were sitting there thinking it's probably beneficial for them to go through and sell their Zen at the max rate and then rebuy it later on when the Dil to Zen ratio is a little bit lower. So I went through and I did this myself last night, right before the DilEx crashed, and I'll go and play that clip right now. And keep in mind that at that time, the backlog was at 1.3 million still, and 5.5 hours later, the sell-off was moving so fast that the backlog disappeared within 5 hours of me recording that video. Okay, it is currently March 5th, 2023, and it is 11:42 p.m. So I am recording this bit before the rest of the video, so I imagine the DilEx number for the backlog is probably much lower than it is right now. But I am going to go through and sell all of my Zen that I currently have for Dilithium, and then eventually, once the DilEx goes to a lower value, as I'll talk about in this video, if I haven't already, I will then convert the Dilithium that I get back over to Zen, and I'll be able to get some extra Zen that way. So I'm going to go through now and sell this Zen. So here's the first 5k. Here is the next 5k. And the last 2,400. And just like that, I have sold all of my Zen that I currently have on me. Okay, so I want to play a clip from the stream that I did this morning, right when the DilEx was starting to get to the point where the backlog was about to disappear. So skip through here, but you can see it's at 44K here, and I'm playing for the stream the clip that I just played for y'all. And as I'm watching this clip, you can just see that number over there just tank. Went down 5K there. You just see it dropping. And sold all of mine last night, and here we go. Here we go. It's gone. 4K. That's $43 worth of Zen right there. Yeah, momentous occasion for sure. There we go. Look at that. When is the last time you saw that? So yeah, there's quite a bit of excitement as we were all watching that go down in chat there. And lots of people, very excited to see something on that buy Zen tab again. Okay, and to follow up on the market speculation stuff for the DilEx, I did make a tool in Excel, of course I did, and I'm going to have it linked in the description below, and I'm going to show you quickly how to go through and use it and demonstrate what I mean when people are talking about, going in and playing the DilEx market. So for me, I sold 12.4K Zen at 500 Dil per Zen while the backlog was still there, and that netted me 6.2 million Dilithium. If I wait for the Dil to Zen ratio to go down to, say, 450, then that 12,400 Zen would turn into 13,778. So you want to sell your Zen while the rate is high, and then buy it back later with that Dilithium once the Dil to Zen rate is lower. So if you want to mess around with this tool yourself, I'll have a link to it down below, and you just go up to File, Make a Copy. If you try to modify this one here, it shouldn't let you. This one, it should only let you view it. So if you want to actually mess around with it and change the numbers, File, Make a Copy. But I've got this set up to show you what the potential gain would be at each Dil to Zen rate. It's unlikely we're going to see the number go too low, but this tool can be quite handy to show you how much you could make selling at a given point. And next up, I want to talk about what I think the future of the DilEx will look like. Thus far, the lowest exchange rate that we saw today on March 6th was 485 Dil per Zen, and then that quickly went back up to the 490s. I expect the DilEx to stabilize for the time being, somewhere in the upper 400s, probably still close to like the 490s for the time being. And I expect there to be quite a bit of Zen post up at the 499 and 500 exchange rates, which should hopefully give us a buffer to prevent things from going back to a backlog situation. Long term, I think the state of the DilEx really depends on Cryptic. If they have any serious plans for Dilithium sinks, now is really the time that they need to be introducing them to give us a buffer to help prevent the backlog from reappearing. So event-wise, they could be introducing the Vandy shields again into the Dil store for a short duration. They could turn another Phoenix event on. And for the Phoenix side of things, add in something that veteran players would have use for. I've been saying for a while, put a T6 coupon in the Epic Phoenix store during the Phoenix events. The issue a lot of veteran players have is they don't have a use for the Epic tokens because they already have all those older event chips. So give veteran players a reason to go out and open those Phoenix packs. And I think a T6 coupon, even if it's bound to them, would be a very good option. And next up, I want to go over some recommendations for what I think all of you should go out and do. If you're someone that has a lot of Zen and you don't need anything right now, then I would consider selling your Zen for Dilithium for the time being. Just keep in mind that you can only store 10 million refined Dilithium per character, so if you sell a ton of Zen and you try to withdraw all of that Dilithium to one character, you want to be very careful to not go over that 10 mil limit, because it will give you the option to withdraw all that Dilithium, but you'll only get 10 million of it. So be very careful if you are converting a large amount of Zen. And there is a functionality in the withdraw thing here, which I'll show you quick. So if I sell 1 Zen here, you see the withdraw button here, you can hit that, and you want to uncheck the withdraw all button and then type in the specific amount that you want to withdraw. So you want to just make sure again that you would not be in a situation where you put yourself at more than 10 million refined lithium on that character, because that could end up screwing you over. So type in the exact amount that you want to move to that character. And if you're somebody that has a lot of dilithium and you don't need the Zen urgently, then I would recommend just holding off on posting any listings right now to buy Zen. Just wait and see how the DilEx moves. You know, worst case is you just end up selling at the 500 to 1 rate. But the potential is that the DilEx could also drop, you know, by a fair bit. You know, if it drops down to 450, you'll be kicking yourself for selling it at like 493 when you could have waited a couple weeks and sold it at a lower price. So we don't know where the Dil Zen rate's going to stabilize at, but you know, the difference between selling your dilithium at 493 and 500 is not that big. You may as well wait and just see what it ends up being at, you know, a week or two from now. And now I want to go over the pros and cons of holding dilithium over Zen, given the current environment. The pros: you have potential to gain value if the Dil to Zen rate drops, which I showed with that spreadsheet. So let me pull that back up. So if I look at this again, you know, I sold my Zen at 500 per earlier. And if I wait for it to go to like 450 Dil per Zen, you know, I'm gaining 1400 Zen right there. So if you are patient, you know, you have potential to gain here, and you're not really risking anything if you're selling Zen right now, because you know the exchange rate is capped at 500 to 1. So if you sell your Zen at like 499 to 1 or 500 to 1 and it goes back up to 500 to 1, you're not really losing out on that much. Even if you sell your Zen at 490 and then you sell it back at 500, you know, you're not losing that much Zen. So it really, to me, the risk is very small. And I think that given how the market has been moving, that there's a lot less lithium going into the game now that those bots have been banned. And the con of holding dilithium is that there is always a chance that the player base will freak out when they see that they can instantly buy Dil, and they'll panic sell all of their dilithium, causing the backlog to reemerge. And in that case, you would have to wait for your Dil to be converted back to Zen. So really, the only risk right now, with the exchange rates being what they are, is that, you know, maybe things go bad and the backlog reappears. Then that risk would be you just have to wait a little bit for your dilithium to be sold back for Zen, which I don't think will happen, but you know, who knows? So what am I doing? Well, as I showed, I have converted all of my Zen to dilithium, and I'm going to wait it out to see where the DilEx goes. I don't really have anything that I urgently need from the C-Store. I do want to get the next legendary ship that's going to be coming out in the next month or so, but I am perfectly fine waiting to see what the DilEx rate is around the time that ship is announced. And then, you know, I'll go through and trade the dilithium I need to get the amount of Zen needed for that ship. So, again, for me, I am perfectly fine holding on to the dilithium for the time being. And in conclusion, is the DilEx really fixed? Well, again, the dilithium exchange was never actually broken. It's just that the way it functioned with the backlog made a lot of people think that it was broken. So, with regards to the backlog issue, for today, that issue has been solved, but for tomorrow, it's really too soon to say. I think we're going to have to wait this one out and see how things develop over the next couple of weeks to know for sure. But what we do know is that the DilEx has been on a very downward trajectory now for the past couple of months. Cryptic has actually been banning some of the bots, and they seem to have actually made some work on changing Starbase 1, which we'll find out in a couple days whether or not that was actually effective in the Elite version. And we know that some of the operations have decided to quit on their own. You know, like I said before, you can go look on eBay or player auctions. There's significantly less gold sellers active now than there was 3 months ago. Overall, I'm really hopeful about the future of the DilEx economy. I think things are improving quite a bit, and they have been improving over the past couple of months. But I do hope that Cryptic doesn't give up on the DilSync ideas. I still think that they need to continue working on DilSyncs to help create a buffer to prevent the backlog from reappearing in the future. And again, the idea that I like, that I mentioned before, is put T6 coupons, even bound ones, into the Epic Phoenix store. That gives us veteran players a reason to go and rip open the Phoenix packs outside of just the upgrades. So, there's many different things Cryptic could do, DilSync wise. I'm not going to get into all of them today, but I just hope that they keep working at it and continue with those ideas rather than just giving up now that they've seen that the DilEx backlog has disappeared. That is going to be it for me today. Again, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And thank you to all of you that have helped push this issue out into the wider community. I think the reason we've seen as much progress as we have is just because of how much support these videos have gotten and how much feedback Cryptic has heard from all of you regarding the concerns about the bot farms and all that. So really thank you to all of you that have helped get Cryptic's attention enough on these issues to make them actually fix it. That's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.